Right
The,
on time.
the first time in a dozen episodes, 10 o'clock, we are live. Welcome in, everybody, to the Lucky Ones podcast. My name is Lucky Wood. I'm your host. I am joined by a co-host slash co-guest, and our guest of honor tonight is Miss Peyton Pickering. Correct? Did I say that right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I see. Yeah, if you watch the previous episodes, I always say the person's name, and I'm like, shoot, I should have asked you before we went live to make sure. But so far, I'm
It's
12,
pretty simple. It's said how it's spelt.
right? Hey, but some names, like, you'd be surprised how many people mispronounce my name. They add an invisible S. All right, let me go ahead and get started over here. Marlene, how you doing tonight, love bug?
Doing all right, just a little sleepy, but wasn't gonna miss another one.
I'm glad you're here with us.
Yes, juggling my 28 million jobs.
Right? We'll just blame them. You're fine. Welcome in, Tall Paul Hutchins. Thank you for coming in and joining us this evening. I'm going to share this out to all the peoples real quick so that they know that we are up and running on time for the first time in 12 episodes. I'm so proud of myself. Oops, wrong button. Okay, there we go. All right, so like I said, my name is Lucky Wood, and Merlene and Peyton are joining us tonight. We're going to start with Miss Peyton. She is going to tell us all about herself, and we're super excited because Merlene and I are in the States, as most of you know, and she is above us. Rude. The great North American country of Canada. Woo, woo, woo. And so I would love to know, Peyton, what got you into this sport of arm wrestling?
It's kind of funny. My dad, a Facebook user, as a lot of people are, he was watching, I don't know, like Facebook Shorts or something, and he started getting a whole bunch of slap fight videos. And he was like, "Hey, these are super fun. Let's watch these slap fight videos." And it slowly somehow turned into arm wrestling. And then he was like, "This is something we could actually do." And somehow it led him to finding like the Bridge City Pullers, which is the club I'm in Saskatoon. Um, and he reached out to our coach Curtis, and that's kind of just how it happened because he was watching all these arm wrestling videos, and then he started arm wrestling his friends for fun, and then me, and then he was like, "Hey, wait, you're strong." So then he was like, let's go do this," and then he drugged me with him, and I was like, "Okay." And then I really loved it. My first practice, I was like, "Oh no, I really really love this," and I've been going for almost 2 years now. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you started, so you're 18 now,
Yeah.
correct? You started when you were 16.
Yeah, I woulda. It was, I remember the day actually because I made a post about it. It May 27th. So I'm just about at 2 years. Yeah.
That's awesome. And
The
we're gonna
photo that you used for the my promo or whatever, that was my like 1 year commemoration photo with what I had earned in a year.
oh
So we're
Lord.
gonna take a new one. Yeah, we're gonna take a new one probably tomorrow to show. I think I've about tripled the prizes by this point, the medals and stuff, which is crazy.
So how much traveling then do you do, or do you just have that many places close to you that allow you to hop in tournaments and stuff?
There are a good amount in Saskatchewan, but it is much bigger in my neighboring provinces, Manitoba and Alberta. So like we travel to those places a lot.
Okay.
Um, and then nationals was up in Nova Scotia. So like we have bounced around a lot, but not too far, like just kind of neighboring
Right.
areas other than nationals.
Gotcha. And so do you always enter right and left then as well?
Yeah, it's always a we're traveling a lot, so might as well.
Right.
If I can enter more than one weight class, I also do that.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
So which and you guys do KG. So
Yeah.
are you like usually middle, upper? Is that usually how you go or like lower middle?
I'm usually upper. Uh, with women's, it's usually only 2 weight classes, and I'm usually in the higher one.
Right.
But if there's 3, there's depending on how they divide it. Sometimes I fit into that middle one, but
Okay.
I sit around. I don't know, even in kg. We also use pounds here. I sit around 175 during competing, but I cut for big competitions.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, I'm headed down to 176 myself right now, and so I'm kind of nervous.
Yeah, I'm trying to get to 164 or 165. That would be 80 kg, 70 kg. I'm not sure. I think 70 might be 154.
I think yeah, you're right. Yeah, because that's what I was looking at earlier when I was typing it in to find out because I know 154 is 69 because it made me giggle.
Yeah.
So Merlene, you started in your teens as well.
I did.
Were you around 16 or a little younger?
I was 16.
Look
I was
at
the junior. No, I was 15.
that.
I
Okay.
graduated 16.
Okay. That's
Mm.
awesome. Cool.
Yeah, I
So
don't think I had, sorry.
no, go. It's yours. Okay.
I don't think I had my first competition until I was 17, though. Could be
Okay.
wrong. I think my first competition may have been in September because I was a little scared. I mean, your first arm wrestling competition is kind of terrifying. So I
100.
kind of put it off a bit. But I think it might have been Kylie asking my friend in the corner. Was it September? My first competition? Yeah, because it was we're thinking maybe September. I could check on it, but not at the moment. That'll be some searching that I'll remember later.
No, you're totally fine. Yeah, my
Sorry, I'm like whispering
oh,
back here.
you're totally fine. You're totally fine. So what is your favorite thing about the sport that you have grown to like so much or love so much about arm wrestling?
Just the community that it's kind of built upon. Everybody knows everybody. I mean, especially out here, I feel like it's a lot smaller than where you are. So you kind of create a big but tight circle, um, especially amongst like your provincial team or your state team. Um, and everybody helps everybody. Like even my opponents, we've had conversations about how we beat each other and how to train and how to get better to keep it a competition, especially amongst women in the sport, because there is such a small number of us, and
Right.
like working towards growing it, just it works as like a big unit, and I love that aspect of it. That's kind of what hooked me in the beginning, was just my first practice and everybody being so welcoming and so helpful. It was awesome.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I think Marlene talked a little bit about that earlier this week too, and that's something that like the whole reason I started the podcast too was really just to
Mm-hmm.
like grow interest for amongst women to be
Mm-hmm.
able to like be like, hey, we can do this and have like so many different women from so many different backgrounds. And yes, it is a competitive sport, but at the same time, it's such a building sport too.
Mm-hmm.
And to be able
Yeah.
to look at your fellow female arm wrestler and just support them, like whether or not you're across the table from them or in the audience cheering them on.
Yeah.
That's really important and beautiful, and it's really nice to hear other women in the sport who share that dream and vision because that's what's gonna make it better. 100%.
100%.
All right, so when you are not arm wrestling, what are you up to? How was your gap year? Tell us all about that.
I've mainly been working to save up for university. But I like traveling, which usually goes hand in hand with arm wrestling with how much we travel for it.
Right.
But I've kind of just been taking it slow. I don't have any crazy exciting hobbies outside of arm wrestling. I feel like that's my weird one. I like to read and I like to camp. That's kind of me. um, I
You
for
camp,
work,
is it like the hike with the tent on your back camp, or is it like drive to like the campsite and set up the
that
tent?
one.
Oh,
That
okay,
one. I don't like glamping in
fair,
like a camp or anything. I like the tent.
right,
It, I am not hiking. I'm not. I'll go for walks.
right,
Hiking is where I draw the
fair enough, fair
line.
enough.
Yeah.
I'm the type of person where I love to hike, but I'm not a huge fan of like the laying the sleeping bag out part. So
Sure.
I'd rather go on a really pretty hike and take a bunch of pictures and then go home and sleep in a real bed.
Yeah. I
So,
like to set out the campsite and then just sit in the lake for the whole day.
ooh, nice. That
Yeah.
would I could get down with that. I can hop on board.
Yeah.
I'll have to come up and you have to show me sometime how to
They're
keep.
all, it's so pretty up here. Like
Okay.
Canada is quite known for its like lakes and stuff. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, Nova Scotia is 100 and Prince Edward Island are on my like must-sees before anything happens.
Nationals was my first time ever stepping foot in that area of the country, and it's beautiful. Like
Wow.
I was in love with it. It probably the most beautiful place in Canada that I've been. BC comes close. The mountains are really nice on the complete opposite side of the country, but I don't know. It was something about Nova Scotia, just always surrounded by water. It's what it feels like, because and it's so small that I love it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I get like kind of like this travel fever when I talk to people like in other countries and they talk about like everything that's near them and I'm like, oh man. But then like, for me, I'm like 3 hours from DC and everybody's like, oh, DC, I've always wanted to go there. But like I got spoiled because like I drive past the Capitol all the time. I see the Washington Memorial all the time and they're like, this is so, oh yeah, I do live in a cool spot too.
Yeah. Other than the landscape, I don't think Canada has that much going for it. Like, there's not many fun big cities. You usually go for the sights more
Right.
than entertainment. It's kind of a wasteland out here.
Oh, no. But you people are pretty cool. You guys make it work.
Yeah. Yeah, we're known for being pretty nice, so that's why people like coming up here, but
Right.
nothing special.
Well, nicer than Americans at least.
That is true.
All right. So what does training look like for you? So you obviously are doing something amazingly right for the fact that you are just dripping in accolades talk about later. So share all your secrets because your girl is gonna need all the pointers.
See, the problem is I actually don't train outside of practice.
Look at you.
Yeah. Everybody I meet is like, if you practice and train at the same time, it'll just jump you up. And I'm like, but I don't want to. The prospect of working out, I'm just like, I've definitely been training more than usual, but the usual being zero. So going up from there, it doesn't mean much. But like we have team practices twice a week, Tuesdays
Okay.
and Fridays.
Gotcha.
And I try to get to those as much as possible.
Okay.
But outside of that, I don't have like a workout routine.
Okay.
On occasion, I'll travel to train with like other arm wrestlers or like go to other province and like team and city practices. Um,
Right.
but yeah, I definitely need to work out more. Yeah, anytime I mention it, my dad, if he was listening right now, he doesn't like that I don't really train. Um, I'm definitely gonna be pushing for it
Right.
because I
Right.
have some big stuff coming up. But
Right.
aside from that, I haven't done much.
Well, cool. All right, so what we're hearing is that Peyton is just naturally gifted at arm wrestling. Amazing, and we are very impressed. And I don't plan on ever pulling her after she starts training because if she's and then she starts training, I might not have arms left. So that's awesome, girl. All right. So, we talked a little bit about Sean already. Is when you call him coach, trainer, just a dad that pushes you? Like, what does that look like outside of like the father daughter?
I mean, he's definitely the dad that pushes me. He's the one that reached out to you. He does this all the time. He's like, "Hey, you should do this thing. I got you to do this thing. Let's go here. Let's go there." He calls himself the soccer mom of arm wrestling
I
with
love it.
just the way that he is, and it's honestly no better title.
Right?
When I refer to coach, we have like the person who runs the Saskatoon club. We live an hour out from where we go to club. Um, I'm gonna give him a shout out, Curtis Klashinsky. He's also one of the major pushes for me in this sport. I have my dad and my mom behind me, and then I also have Curtis, and it's like, I don't know, it's a perfect support system. Only reason I've kept steady with it, honestly, I love it, but I can't keep track of myself half the time, so I need them there with me.
Love it. That's awesome. Very cool. Um, then who do you, so you have your parents, which is awesome. You have your coach, which is awesome. And then, so who do you look up to in the sport as kind of like, you're like, oh, this is the level that I would like to achieve? Or then who do you also look up to as in like, oh, wow, I really respect them as a puller, male, female, both?
My person who I'm close to that I really look up to will have to be my coach Curtis. He's been arm wrestling since before I was born. So he definitely knows all there is to know about the sport. And he's learning more and more every day. And he's so willing to always share his knowledge. And him, as just him alone, keeping together our club, albeit not huge, but he's just a powerful force. He keeps everybody motivated. He encourages everybody to push themselves. He's who I look up to in my direct life, but then in more of like an idol um way, I guess. I'm gonna butcher her last name, but Gabby Vasconcelos. I don't know if that's Gabby. I've met her in person, and that was one of like the best moments of my life. I look up to her so much as a female arm wrestler. Her being so strong and so good in the sport is something that I wish to achieve at some point in my life. Maybe not for a long, long time, but one day. But that's my big one. I look up to honestly every female arm wrestler. Um, Jocelyn is someone who I've looked up to since nationals. Same with Sarah Wilson, who I also met at nationals, and just I just start naming women that I know in arm wrestling. Like seeing these women up on that stage, it was like, oh, it was like awe-inspiring. It was so amazing seeing such like intense, strong women who are passionate about it. And honestly, anybody who's like that, I look up to them like immediately.
Love that. So when you did nationals, how did you, I know you have a national title. You have two, correct?
Four.
Four. Yeah, four. My bad.
Yeah,
Sorry.
because that's all right. I was able to compete junior and adult at this last nationals. So I have a gold, a silver, and two bronzes. I podiumed in all four of my classes, which way better than I hoped to do. I
Right.
got first in youth right arm, second in youth left arm, and then bronze in both arms women.
That's amazing.
Which yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's incredible. Congratulations.
Yeah.
And then it was 6 provincial or province. How you say it?
Provincial.
Provincial.
Yeah. Yeah. So kind of the same boat as nationals. Last year I was able to compete youth and adult. So I got 4 that year. And then I got 2 this year. Kylie, can you pass me the box? I have a box with all of them like bundled up all neatly.
Everything. We want to see everything.
Sorry, I like bragging a little bit.
No, do it. Like I said, this is all about you, boo. Marlene, wake up. We'll talk about you in a second.
So these are this year's gold provincials. I don't know how well the camera's picking them up. They're super pretty. I don't remember what last year's looked like.
The fact that there's moose on them is just giving me so much life right now.
He has a tattoo of 2 arms arm wrestling.
That is so great.
No, that's Manchester. Sorry, we're like right now.
I'm here for it.
I don't actually know what happened to these. Like where they might be right here.
Love to have so many awards.
Nope.
I don't know where I got them from.
No.
Look, we're gonna have to take a field trip up there.
Right? For
I
real?
think these might be last year's. Nope. Kylie's telling me no. Oh Lord. No, not those ones. These ones. So I'm assuming these are my senior. No, this is PA Winterfest. Oh my goodness. Kylie. I'm blaming you as if they're not mine. I don't know where they are at the moment. It's the trophies in there. Can you quick run and grab them? Sorry, we got trophies last year at provincials. That's why I couldn't find them in the bucket. Sorry. I'm just causing like a clank and mess.
Like I said, I'm here for it.
These were the senior ones.
Ooh.
Yeah, they were pretty nice. All of them were gold. Last year I only got third place on both arms in the adult women's. So getting first place in adult women's this year against the same people was definitely an achievement for me.
Who are the people? Spill the beans.
There aren't many, but this year I went against a woman named Desiree De Silva, who I go against like every competition. She goes everywhere, I go everywhere, and she's definitely one of my favorite competitors. And then a woman, I don't remember her last name. Her name is Monica, who Ossinger? I'm being told. She like destroyed me last year at provincials. She's super strong. She's a super strong top roll, which I did not know how to manage at that point in my life. And yeah, those two women are who I went against this year. And I think one other person. A woman who I'm not familiar with. But last year at provincials in the youth category, I went against a girl named Anae Esmond. She's exactly my age. She wasn't at provincials this year, but she also beat me pretty hard. And that's kind of like a rivalry that's kind of ongoing just because we're always in the same weight class. We're the same age. It's just kind of like a bounce up and down.
Yeah.
But
no, I get it. For sure, for sure. What's up, Captain? Welcome in. So we have shout out to our awesome moderator. Welcome in, Mike. Welcome in, Captain Obvious. Mike says not knowing which is from when or where I can relate.
The problem is most of them have words on the back, or I write in Sharpie.
Right.
But it's just like trying to. They all look the same. They're all circles. And all of the bands usually have like yellow and green because those are like Saskatchewan colors.
Right.
So it's like, and I'm trying to look through them quickly. A little stressful.
Got it. No worries. Have you ever competed down here in the States?
Not yet, but my dad plans on bringing me down to, I think it's Montana. Ooh. Because it's right bordering us.
Right.
And it's honestly just as quick to get there as northern Saskatchewan competitions. And it would be great to compete outside of our country.
Definitely.
And maybe the Dakotas, because those are close too, and we own land down in South Dakota. We're just kind of keeping an eye out for whatever's close.
Both Dakotas and just go to Minnesota.
Fair enough.
No, I think that there is a polar in North Dakota who is winning literally everything in North Dakota, and like nobody knew about him because literally like he's just in North Dakota. And then when he started like coming out of there, they're like, y'all have arm wrestling in North Dakota.
That's how it feels with Saskatchewan too.
Gotcha. All right. So what are some of the good and bad differences between the countries, female arm wrestling, how it looks up there, how it looks down here, how it looks in other countries that you've noticed, just in general, or arm wrestling in general, in your opinion?
For an arm wrestler, I don't pay that much attention to arm wrestling sometimes. But I just don't know about like the community, especially amongst women outside of Canada. I know Canadians are known for being really nice, so it might just be, sorry, there's a train going by. I don't know if my mic's blocking it out or not. um Sorry. Um so I just don't know if it's as tight knit in the States, or I mean in any other country. Um I wouldn't say it's a bad thing, but in a lot of places in Europe, it's huge and it's like super competitive and everybody's super strong and they've been doing it since they were fresh out of the womb. So I mean that's a good thing for them, bad thing for me.
Right.
So I don't know how I'd categorize that. Um yeah, I think all across the board I'd say it's pretty good. There are some big like politics related things happening amongst arm wrestling right now that altogether just isn't fun for everybody, and it's getting especially messy in Canada right now because they're trying to open up more leagues, and it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing with like nationals. I would say that's probably the only bad thing about arm wrestling, but I wouldn't say that's country specific. It's messy everywhere. It's not good for any particular place over the other because it just causes tension, right? So
Right.
yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. That's awesome. So
Mm.
tell us about your favorite match. What has been like your favorite match over the last 2 years?
It definitely was a really, really big loss for me, but I had pulled Gabby in um a competition. It was called North vs. South. She had a super match with Sarah Wilson that day, and then she competed in the women's. So I pulled her on I think it was both arms. Might have just been right. But that was definitely like oh my gosh, I'm meeting my idol. I'm arm wrestling her match. But I would say it was more like just a meeting than an actual match because I wasn't gonna do anything against her. Like um but at nationals I pulled this woman named Natasha and she's like jacked. And I was super scared going up into it. And I like to say my favorite matches are my losses because I learn from them the most.
Right.
We were pulling right arm and I ended up losing to her, but even going into nationals, I didn't have that much experience. I still don't. I'm still pretty new, but definitely landslide more than then. And being able to get her onto my side of the table and to almost beat her was definitely a big pivotal moment for me in arm wrestling. It kind of pushed me forward. But I keep having matches like that, like every competition that keep motivating me to go forward and a new favorite match. So all of them are my favorite.
That's awesome. No, I love that. I love that. You know, your losses are your favorites because you learn from them.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome, and that's a great mindset to have,
Yeah.
especially when you're in that kind of that learning phase. That's inspirational even to me. So I love that. So you bragged a little bit about your accolades so far, but brag some more. Tell us more about 4 national titles, 6 provincial ones. I'll get that word down eventually.
Provincial. I think you're adding a few syllables.
I think I am too. Yeah. The ADD is why we add things. So go ahead and what's some other big awards that you kind of walked away with being like, wow, I didn't think I was gonna walk away with this.
My belt title. I'm a belt holder for it's called Lethbridge Arm Wrestling Club, I think. I won the belt in a competition. Kylie, hey Kylie, you should grab it. And it's definitely one of the coolest things I have because I was actually able to keep it until somebody takes it from me. Ooh, wobbly. We're on my bed. Sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Okay, this is my belt.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike, she has a belt.
But being able to win
my
this.
poor trainer, we went out to California together to compete, and his match was a belt match, and I won my match, and he did not get a belt, so he just
maybe you should have had a belt match then.
Right? Ray, where's my belt?
But this is definitely my biggest like I competed and won it award, but I got Rookie of the Year last year at provincials, which is definitely something I'm super proud of. But I didn't necessarily like I didn't win a specific match to get there.
Right.
Um, and I've also won at this same competition, but the year prior won overall best female puller. Um, I think things like that I hold closer to my heart just because it's like someone recognizing my effort and achievement rather than just I do love winning matches. I mean, who doesn't? But just having people acknowledge that and then give you something for the acknowledgement of it, yeah, that's definitely my favorite.
That's awesome. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Try to quietly rummage. And my national medals are obviously my favorite ones. And I'm sure I'm trying to grab them. They're super pretty.
Come up to Canada and win a medal with a moose on it. Like, ooh, that's
These are, yeah. So,
cool.
yeah.
Paper flat. Oh,
Yeah.
that's so cute.
I'm proud of everything I've earned just because I've always been in a mindset of like, if I have it, I earned it.
Yes.
Gotta be proud of it kind of thing. But yeah, my belt. That's my best thing.
I love it. So, what do you hope to achieve in the future?
Upcoming, I have a belt match. Hopefully, I'll
Different
get
belt,
another
or are you saving? Are you?
different belt. I'm
Ooh.
challenging for this belt.
Ooh.
Um,
Is it the
it's
red,
against.
the red and gold one?
I think it might be.
Okay. I thought I saw something on.
I'm not too sure. I think it might be. It's against a girl named Leah Cornelson. She's a world champion in IFA worlds.
Okay.
Yeah, she's really strong, and I have a super match against her on my right arm to challenge for belt, and then I have a left arm match.
Is it best 3 out of 5?
Out of 5, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I have a left arm match against a woman named Christy Findley, who I have pulled before on right. Um, I'm looking forward to both of them.
Are they the same day, different days?
Yeah, they're the same day. There's going to be another like so this is a big kind of super match event. So I have 2 super matches that day. My little cousin, who I got into arm wrestling, she is a youth super match that day against a boy named Tristan Arsenault. He's 9 years old and like the strongest kid I've ever seen. You do like 40 weighted pull-ups. I'm like, ugh. He's 10 now, actually, but 10-year-olds should be able to do that.
That's not natural. He needs to be in the men's class.
So they have a super match that day to kind of break up the 2 co-main events, and then there's this guy named Mason Drosy, who is also super strong, world champion at the IFA level, and I don't know his last name either. I'm not best with names. His name's Ali, though that's the super match they're having, along with me and Leia, me and Findley. So there's like a whole bunch of them happening that day. Yeah.
Yeah, we have something similar here on June 22nd. It's called Throwdown at Redmond's. And I have 2 super matches that day. One is left and one is right. So, yeah.
Ours is.
Sorry.
I was gonna say ours is June 15th. They're pretty close.
Very close. It must be like a June thing. Everybody
must be
super match events. I think what's your opinion? Because I know what I think about it. What was your opinion, like a big super match event where you're preparing for 2 people versus like a tournament when you're not sure who's going to be there?
I think it's much more nerve-wracking to prepare for like a specific pre-planned match. I kind of have a little bit of comfort in the unknown of like I don't know who's going to show up. I have like a general idea. But like knowing who I'm going against and knowing what I have to train for, it just seems a lot more intense.
Merlin, what do you think? Oh, she.
Hmm.
Huh? What I said, what do you think? And then you disappeared forever.
I'm trying to find it.
So
Hold on. Sorry, press the button.
you're
Okay, I'm back. I'm back. Because it's like once the phone flips, I'm trying to find it. Repeat that last part.
So we were talking about whether it's better to, or like, how do you feel about a super match where you're preparing for one or two specific people versus like a tournament where you're not sure who's going to be there?
I never watch matches or prepare for people. I like to be surprised, just try to train for everything, work on your weaknesses,
So it doesn't really matter, I guess. You don't
magic, remember it when the time comes. If your go-to doesn't work.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. And so we talked. So June 15th, is that going to be the next event that you're going to do? Then is the June 15th? Or are you doing anything before that?
I'm not doing anything in between that. Just I feel like if I chance it, I'll end up hurting myself. But because also shortly after that, I'm going to nationals, so trying to
When
tax myself the
is
least.
Nationals going to be in Nova Scotia again this year?
It's in Quebec this year, Gatineau specifically. It is the 27th of June
Okay.
until the 30th, the 29th, something like that. It's a handful of days.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we'll go up. We'll be going up a few days early to explore. I've never been to Quebec before. We're gonna make a trip out of it.
That's awesome. So does the Nationals run multiple days, or you're just going multiple days to like visit and stuff?
Nationals itself runs for I think 3 or 4 days, so they'll do like the youth and disabled classes, and then they do like um, women's and like men's pro, and then they do like grandmasters, masters, stuff like that. They kind of divide it like that. I'm not sure how they're specifically dividing it this year. I'll only pull I think one or two of the days. Um, but it is a course of a few days. But we're gonna be going there extra days on top of that just to kind of explore, walk around.
Very cool. All right. Is there anyone in particular that you're like super excited to one day grip up with? Don't worry, I'm not gonna tell you to call anybody out necessarily.
I do not have the guts for that. The Natasha woman I pulled last nationals, she's from Quebec. She's part of the Quebec team. So I'm hopefully going to be seeing her again. I'm kind of nervous for it, honestly. But um and I'm also super looking forward to my super match. There are a few women that I just haven't been able to ever get a chance to pull, even though they're close. There's this woman named Vivian Santos who like is just super big in the sport here. And I've seen her at events, but every time I've seen her at an event, it's an event where she's resting or she was injured because she got injured at nationals. Um, then she isn't competing. So I just kind of see her helping out with the tournament rather than actually being able to arm wrestle her, which is
Right.
always like so close, but never quite.
Right.
I'm not sure if I have any big prospects because like I've pulled Gabby before. I've met her, and if I haven't, that would be my answer. She's
Right.
the woman I look up to the most in this sport. But since that's already checked off my list.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, you can't get much higher than number one in the world. So
Yeah.
I'm hopeful. Um, Next weekend, I think, is the hope that she will be at Arizona State with the Swedes and with Jocelyn, and
Mm-hmm.
it'll be interesting to see what happens there for sure. Um, Especially shout out to Jocelyn winning her super match today against the great legend Heidi Cornor. So that was intense and impressive. So she's definitely continuing. Everybody was just like, can she continue the reign? And apparently, yes. The answer is yes.
She definitely did.
She definitely did. So, shout out to her, for sure, and just congratulations from the Lucky Ones podcast for that win. And yeah, I'm excited to see what happens if she ever gets to grip up with Gabby. That'll be. I want
That'll
a
be
front row
exciting.
her.
Well, especially since she was able to beat Sarah Bachman, who has been a huge competitor for Gabby in the past. That that proves that if she ever encounters Gabby in an actual match, that'll be a fun match.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I'm not putting money on that match.
Nope.
I just want front row seats. All right. So we talked a little bit before we went live, just kind of about this final question. Two-part question. What would your advice be for somebody who's looking to start in the sport? And then what piece of advice would you give somebody who is just starting out in the sport?
Oh gosh, I'm not the best with advice. My biggest piece of advice for everybody is to just stick to it, because you will always eventually hit a plateau at some point. You can hit multiple, and you'll see it as, oh, that's it. That's the best I can get. Or you will feel like you're getting worse. Excuse me. Sorry. I got like choked on my own air, and I'm like tearing. I'm just getting so emotional. I definitely hit a plateau myself, and if I didn't have people behind me encouraging me to keep going, I probably wouldn't have kept up, at least not at the level that I've kept up. Um, it does take a level of like mental fortitude to just push past those barriers, and it's easier said than done. But like all across the board, you need to keep pushing. There's always room for improvement. You'll feel like you kind of hit your peak, but in my opinion, that's impossible. There's no peak for you to hit. It's just endless stairs, which can seem exhausting. But there's always rewarding things if you keep going. Just keep pushing, keep working, get yourself out there. Yeah.
Well, dang it. You were made a joke about being emotional, and that hit hard. Thank you. Even though you said you weren't good at advice, it's exactly kind of what I needed to hear. So I very much appreciate that. So thank you very much. You're awesome.
Thank you.
All right. Marlene, Queen of North America 154. That's right. I said it. You have a problem with it? Go hit her up in North Carolina. How was your round robin experience, my friend?
It was amazing. Lord knows I needed to meet a bunch of badass women sooner for my spirit, but it was really nice to be around both all the women competing, all 24 women plus, whoever came and visited with them. Like I said, like Peyton said, the community is one of the best parts of the sport. So it's like a it's like a vacay that no one understands. You know what I mean? It's like people have their thing. Some like to go clubbing. I like to be around a bunch of other arm wrestlers, women. So that's my guilty party pleasure. You know what I mean?
Right. So has anything come of the last big huge win? You beat 11 women undefeated. Congratulations. That's just amazing. Just boom 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 within an hour and a half, within 90 minutes. Within 90 minutes you beat 11 women and you went undefeated. Like
I didn't know it was that fast.
right, exactly. Like I just want people to like really truly understand the significance of what both she and Jocelyn, not taking anything away from Jocelyn, just we'll sing her praises when she hops on the show. But that's impressive. Both she and Jocelyn achieved that. We need to call up like Gettysburg World Records to see if we can get y'all's name in there for this undefeated in 90 minutes. 11 women. That's, wow.
Got to be a world record.
It's got to be. It's got to be. LeRae, find out if that's a real world record or not. The only downside is they should have had them come to the thing so they could like witness it. Because now you got to do it again. If it is a world record, you got to do it again.
I mean, if it was that quick and easy for her, she could for sure do it again.
My guess is they could have done it if she did 154s and 155.
That sounds
23 and 0 in 3 hours.
Oh, definitely had some losses there, but it was definitely a good experience because, you know, it's real easy to just go to a tournament, pull 2, 3 women, you know, a class. If you have 6 women in the class, you maybe get to pull 3 times, you know what I mean? But to really go somewhere and, you know, without any real breaks, just pull 11 different women and however their styles are, whatever their strengths are, that I feel is top level. You know what I mean? Because I feel like it's like, and they weren't regular women either. They were like some of the best in the country. So, you know, it definitely wasn't something that, you know, one should miss. Like I did contemplate at one point not going. I had so much going on in my life. You know, I was working 17 weeks, 80-hour weeks, 1 day off. And that was the week before when I went to Candy's for practice before the round robin. And so, you know, for me mentally, not traveling as much and running all that I run in regular life, it really was a test to me to see how far or how dedicated I really am in something that may not be as rewarding. You know what I mean? Because Lord knows how hard I train and, you know, I don't take any shortcuts. I don't speed track. I don't cheat when I pull. I'm always a fair puller. You know, so when I'm at the table, I'm literally giving it 100, you know, 100%. I haven't studied my opponent. I'm coming in just like anybody going into a war with the weapon that I got and hoping that it's good enough. So I really needed this round robin because it's like, you know, when you have some wins or whatever, with me, I've always felt like I haven't always 100% got the respect that I should get for all the hard work and the stuff that I put in. So for me mentally, it was something I needed. Even though I had done well in, you know, the qualifiers for East versus West that I did not go to for finals. I appreciate everyone who supported me, but I have my own reasons for that. I this was a real test for me. You know what I mean? Because like I said, you could pull 1 or 2 women and go, oh yeah, I'm good. But can you beat a bunch of women consecutively that's all trying to bring you down and say they beat you? You know what I mean? It's like a mental game, but they're also fantastic and awesome as well. So it's like, you know, you gotta, especially if you're like me and you're not like a bitch or like a mean ass person, you got to be like, all right, you got to really go for this. Okay. You could be nice later and you could be cool with them later. But right now you got to do business. So it was a really, important test for me. And I surprised myself, to be honest. You know what I mean? I said I was just going to give it all that I got and see how it went. And thankfully it went well. You know what I mean? And I still got to meet and hang out with a bunch of awesome women. I got to do after pulls, which was fantastic. That's my favorite. And it's just great. I just can't wait to see everybody again. Like it really lit a fire. You know what I mean? And like I said today on a post, my spot was moved in January. We are now in, where are we in? May. Been working so much. We're in May, so I do consider myself number one. Anyone else that thinks otherwise, we can meet. You know what I mean? Because I believe I do remember that someone said we shouldn't just sit on titles. So we should all walk the walk that we talk. Yeah. So wherever we need to meet or whatever, anyone that has any questions, I'm always willing to give 100%. And even if it's not my day, like the goat John, I'm gonna come back. I'm not giving up. I'll catch them on the flip side. But yeah, this is it was great. It was phenomenal. Thank you, Lorray and Christopher for throwing that together. It was really great, and I just look forward to more. You know,
Right. What is next for you?
unfortunately, not Arizona. I don't think. Think it's too close to the trip I just took. And it's crazy because I was just like, oh, I took a trip, even though it was like 2 days. Normally people get 2 days off. So even though everyone was acting like it was a vacation, it was 2 freaking days. But I was just like, yeah, I could do it. But then as soon as I got back, things are like crazy. It's like, oh, Merlene's back. All right, let's act wild. So I can't necessarily travel. And it was just like I found this like hotel package and round trip. It was only $400. I was like, never in life do you ever freaking find that. Like ever. And they were just like, really? And I don't think you can make it. I was like,
Get your job and go.
killing me. I know, like I'm really about to catch some serious COVID. But you know, I'm about to catch some real COVID that requires me to have like 5 days off. But if regardless regardless if I don't make it to Arizona and I'll be crying watching from a distance, I do plan to just, like I said, travel more and hit up more places. Like I'm really serious about that. That round robin, like I said, it was something that I really needed, and not just because of the love of the sport, but it reminded me like aside from my obligations of being a mom and business owner and running a restaurant, I actually need to have a life and do the things that matter to me. And one of those things are arm wrestling. So I'm definitely like trying to carve out more time and travel more, because I mean I drove to Tennessee. That's like a lot of hours. That was like a lot for me. It was like 6 hours. That was a lot. Even though I was on the phone with you for like five of them. But it was I drove it. So that means I could drive other places. I drove Candies the weekend before. So anything
One
within
of
the
the
6 hours
car,
is fair game. Okay? It's fair game.
and you only hit one car driving it. I'm so proud of you.
Oh my God. That was really bad. And that was at a red light. That's the sad part. Wasn't even driving. I just let myself and tap. I was like, oh my God, guys, I hit a car. Horrible, horrible, horrible. But yes, only tap the
Shout
one
out to her who
light.
she hit, by the way. Our thoughts and prayers are with you. We hope your chiropractor fixed you up really good. Thank you for not calling the police on our friend. We very much appreciate it.
No,
You're
let me send an offer to join arm wrestling because it is great. Although she did look more scared of me. Like I think
arm wrestling, like Peyton said, it's too small of a community. She will find you.
she was really scared though. I was like, oh my God. Like when hey,
Oh.
Jesus Christ. But yes. Yes, even though I tapped the one car at the light, I did so. Like hopefully I get to make it out to Katie. Shout out to Katie. I hope you're recovering well. You know what I mean? We love you. Hopefully I could make it out to her. I know Amanda mentioned some tournament in North Carolina. Definitely any Carolina thing I'm trying to make it to.
You should
Um
go to the Georgia State one.
oh yeah, that too. Although I did have that speeding ticket when I went to Alabama all those
Yeah, but
years
that's
ago.
different.
I know that's a different state, but don't I have to pass like, you know?
No, girl, Georgia's right below you. You just drive straight
Listen,
down.
I just somehow this anything like I
That's
just
why you have Amanda drive you.
bro, that's the whole plan because it's like it's me and
All
the
right,
the
so you and
law.
Amanda need to plan for July 13th. You guys are coming to Georgia. She's gonna come pick you up.
Please, we be there.
And then next year I will come and get you for Alabama and I'll drive you
Oh,
to Alabama. So Merlene doesn't necessarily need a sponsor, she needs a driver. So if anyone Merlene to go pick her up, pay for gas, take her to all these places she needs to travel.
Grant, where's
To run from the law.
Right? If you are okay with the fugitive with you.
I'm not a fugitive. It was a lawyer, okay?
My bad.
Oh man. I mean, I didn't see the cop. Like, dude said I was going like 105.
Same.
It was actually 107, but that's besides the fact he should have been behind the hill. But yeah, I was trying to get home. Long distance driving is rough for me. Anything past 10 minutes. You know what I'm saying?
What is that in kilometers?
Oh, please. Like
'Cause I
sometimes
know that's high.
most
Yeah,
catch up.
no, it's very fast. Most cars don't even go up that high on their dash.
It tells us like 120, most cars, don't they? 110, 120?
Yeah, you're right. 120. But
Yeah,
listen,
20.
don't let the facts get in the way of a good story, okay?
165 kilometers an hour.
Yeah, that's our girl. Vroom,
Just-
That's almost, that's like
Fast and the
at least
Furious
50
down
above
there.
our highest speed limit.
It's rough being a New Yorker in the South.
Mike, what's it pays? Mike, it doesn't pay. That's why it's a volunteer like sponsorship. Goofy.
It's the thrill of it that you get out of driving around.
Right?
I like beating the GPS time.
It's a challenge.
Yeah, especially if there's like nobody on the road. It's horrible.
No, I think what's funny is both of you have kind of touched on this a little bit, and like it's I have been really truly like chewing on everything that happened last week for me, and kind of just like digesting and moving on and living my best life when it comes to last weekend. But it was funny because, like I said, both of you kind of touched on this, and for me, it was like, well, do I want to be good or do I want to win? And so, and like, because those two things don't necessarily go together. Because, like for me, like I have, national titles and 4 state titles, and I do win tournaments. But at the same time, like there's a level that I just have not reached yet or been able to even come close to touching yet. And like, how much am I willing to work at it to get to that level to be able to say, like, yes, I'm going to suffer horrible losses and be, not humiliated, but just like kind of, humbled, trying to get to a level that I want to accomplish so I can be good. And so, for me, like, I have 3 big things coming up where I'm just like, I don't even know if I'm going to walk away with anything doing these 3 things. But at the same time, like, that's what I need to be doing if I'm going to be able to be good. Because I want to be good. And, and so, like you said, kind of hitting that plateau of like, well, shoot, I found so much joy in the winning part of it. And I liked the winning part of it. But I also think like, it's important to recognize that there is a toughness about it as well too that I need to be able to grow and be better in. And there's the training behind it. No offense, Peyton, but for me,
no, it's true.
There's gonna be a training behind it that I'm gonna need to, and respect those who are putting in,
Absolutely,
the work and all that stuff. So, that's kind of, I just think it's kind of not funny, haha, but very like fortuitous and serendipitous that both of you have kind of like confirmed kind of where my mind has been the last kind of week and a half, dealing with everything that went down at the round robin, which I'm still happy that I went. I'm still happy that I participated. You know, it's not what I wanted to have happen at all. And you know, even watching the 154s, like, you know, and thinking of like, oh, I could have done this, I should have done this, I knew to do this, I knew to do this. And like, you know, part of me feels like it was almost like me. There's a couple of matches where I literally felt like outside of my own body, just kind of watching me do exactly what I said I wasn't gonna do. And it was like, whoops. And so now I just feel like, okay, now I've gotten, you know, 11 really hard lessons of what not to do. Let's turn this around into something positive. So
I had a comment that Ryan said today that I think I've read him say before, but it was pretty valid. He said failures are roads or paths to future successes,
yep.
which I completely agree with, because it gives us a choice. And like even after a lot of the hate emails, and not hate emails but hate messages and stuff that I got after my loss in January, I had like a bunch of random great support. And like Travis Badgett in his message that he had sent me had said that, you know, how we deal or choose what we choose to do after losses determines like who we are and how much it matters to us. You know what I mean? So losses aren't necessarily bad things. They just gives us more areas to work in. You know what I'm saying? And like John, you can beat him and then he'll come back. And it's been like that for like 2 decades. So if we can do the same, I'm sure we can do the same as women, you know what I mean? Because we definitely are just as passionate for the sport. So it's not just about winning or losing or shortcuts or, you know, like hoping the next person loses. It's about supporting, encouraging. If you're really that great, then you should be able to do great, train great, you know, be great to other people, bring other people on, you know, support and help grow the sport. Because it's like, how fun is it if you're like, oh yeah, I'm number one, so you know, fuck everybody else, I'm better than all of them. Are you really? You know what I mean? There could be literally like when I beat that world champion that had beat me the first year in, I knew she wasn't happy. She wasn't like, you know, I know she didn't expect no 16-year-old fucking do that. You know what I mean? But everyone has their days, and how you choose to deal with that determines, you know, your character, how far you'll succeed in life, because you're always going to face obstacles. You know what I mean? But every loss is not a loss. Like you can really grow from it. You can learn from the people who beat you, learn about the people who beat you, learn and find what works for you and what they show you and what they teach you. You know what I mean? Because hey, you may be like, hey Merlene, how'd you beat me? How'd you top roll? And you never use that top roll again till one day you're like in a match that you've always wanted, you know, for a world title, and all of a sudden you randomly top rolled, and you're like, oh my god, this happened from like 8 years ago. That one time, and after pool really showed me that top roll. Like you never like, like I like the top roll, but let me tell you something. When I get caught up in a hook and I'm able to beat someone, that's not from something I naturally do. That could have been from the 28th loss that I had at practice from one of the guys. You know what I'm saying? But you kind of retain it. You know, like it's like they say it takes like 45 days to break a habit. It takes 45 days to build a good habit too. So if you're training this, it becomes something in your toolbox. You know what I mean? So losses aren't necessarily like the end of the world. It can be the beginning of an even better you. And then next thing you know, you're Lucky the freaking Terminator, and everyone's like, I don't know what happened. Like, like look at Hunter. They say that Hunter used to struggle at practice. And now look at him. He's just slaying everybody. Like, shang, shang, shang. He's killing the game.
Shout out
All
to Hobbs.
killing the game. Bro's killing it. but like it
Two
just
classes.
practice. Huh? That's what I'm saying. It takes practice. It takes belief in yourself. It takes like using that to motivate you to push that extra mile. You know what I mean? Like I said with the round robin, I really considered not going. You know what I mean? I was like, I don't even know if I could pull anymore. You know how it is, being extra and being emotional, got hormones all goddamn time. But then it was just like leading up to it, everything that was going on behind the scenes that I didn't agree with, all the, I wanted to support so many people. I wanted this to still be important. And I definitely am glad that I went because we all got to support each other. We all got to be there for each other. And then we got to meet everybody, and I just want to meet more. Like, I want to have a huge freak practice, like 800 women in it, and everybody just pulling everybody for like a whole weekend. Okay, like that's the plan. I just want to make it happen. So
That's
Make
the
sure
the
dream.
make sure you have your passport ready, Peyton, or I'll fly you down.
I got it.
we're
I
gonna get
got it locked and loaded.
series of places and pull up, and that's just how it's gonna happen. The same way I tried to get everyone to go to Scarlett's B&B when I didn't even know where the address was, but I had like 20 to go. So we just need to have one thing.
Two after parties, and she slept through both of them, Peyton.
God, I'm so everybody to about that. I promise you I won't be old and I'm gonna stay away the next time I try to conceive crazy ass plan. Okay? That's the I want
She
to
done
have
You
made
tired
people,
yourself
she done
out.
made people set up tables. She made Scarlett think people were going to show up at her Airbnb. And then you just,
old because I was too excited. I had the 2 days and the one day because remember I was point two over. The worst water cut of my life. Ah, point two over because of Lorraine's heavy scale. Still love you, Lorraine. Goddamn. That point two almost killed me and ended the game.
yeah,
Y'all
that's the big scandal that we want to talk about is Lorray scale. How apparently everybody was gonna not make the weight because he had done nickels in it to make it
that
go.
was the true test. That was the true
And
test.
Danielle was ready to go, and she was over. Merlene was ready to go, she was over.
You have it. That point two pounds was rough. Shout out to my Passmore family. Daniel took walked the 2 laps with me.
Yes.
When I was testing, I appreciate you walking those 2 circles with me. I know how people be cutting because in point 2 pounds was killing my ass. But call it was real. It was a real point 2 pounds, okay?
I'm
I'm
ready
never
to make her
had it.
eyebrows. Yeah.
Even now, I'm like, I always I don't really eat bad. You guys see how I feast? It's normally on like proteins and fermented veggies and stuff, Korean barbecue. But even now, I'm still holding out in case, by the grace of God, I somehow end up on a flight to Arizona. So I'm still not risking the point 2 pounds no more because
You do
I
it. Do it,
it was
girl.
never again, never again. So, I'm still watching because I will never have to try to cut point 2 pounds again. I promise you that. So I was
Just
just,
put me at the
uh,
head. Just
'cause
put me at the head.
we're still a week out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're still a week out. I might magically, the owner might be like, you're just so dedicated. I bought you this red eye flight. And be like, thanks, boss man. Bill might be like, hey, you
Oh,
know
yeah,
what?
by the way,
Oh,
so
I'm out there on
the
the
thing that I'm doing for you with the song and whatever. Mike says that the only thing that you need to do for us in return is to introduce us to him one day.
Oh man,
You're
that's
gonna come down and eat.
so random in there. So random, and it's crazy because the first time he came in there, I refused to leave the kitchen because I have this weird thing where I don't like to hype people up. Like I'm a hype man, you know me. I will boost everybody up. But let's say you're driving like this super $5 million car, everybody's gonna be looking at you, and I'm turning around and I'll watch you drive off, but I'm not gonna be with everyone. You know what I'm saying? So like, the first time he was at the restaurant, they're like, "Oh, he's here again," and I was like, "Okay, cool." And I cooked this food in the kitchen, and then
Ain't no skin off my back.
The day he came in again because he's been coming in more frequently, and I was like, damn it, I want to like fuck. And so I was just like, I'm gonna just stay in the kitchen. But then each time but now I'm like, I'm not just the exec chef, I GM as well. So if I can walk out the kitchen, and he's just watching me every time I walk out the kitchen, and I look at him and I just keep making my rounds and stuff like that. And then the other owner or whatever calls, and I'm telling him, giving him the rundown, and I'm like, yeah, Bill's here, and he was like, yeah, did you talk to him? I was like, I know, you know. He was just like, you better stop what you're doing right now and go talk to him. And I was like, God damn it. God, because you know me, like I'm an extroverted introvert. Like I'm outgoing with my peoples, but any other time I'm like, whoop, like I'm just like all like aloof. So I go up there and he's like, oh, here's the baker. And I said, have a good evening and walked away. But then I had to go back to the table and talk because my boss told me to.
I don't really feel bad because you know how much editing I'm gonna have to do.
'Cause he's a great guy.
This is a PG podcast, and you done turned it into PG-13. I have to go back and beep, beep, beep.
Oh my God, we can't curse on the podcast?
Whoa.
Did I even curse? I don't even think I cursed. Did I curse?
Louis, that's for sure.
Oh man, I'm sorry, man. New York life again. Tell you, I can't remember.
I'll put a language disclaimer. It's fine. I had to do that when we had Nancy Nations on.
I'm not around because whenever she's around, it's
it was Jody. Sorry, it was Jody Williams. I had to put the language disclaimer on because.
He's a good guy. He's pretty cool. He's pretty cool.
Is, but he definitely dropped like 2 F-bombs, and I was like, "Dang it, Jody!"
Oh, I love that. He's awesome. He's really great. He's definitely a huge supporter of women. If I wanted
to get canceled, it'd be like the dang black people.
Oh.
I'm just kidding. I'm half black. It's okay. I can.
You all?
Yeah, you know that.
Hell, oh my God. I got that. I have a little bit of suspicion with the braids, but I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that would get me canceled first. You said what?
My steam burn.
Is that a boil?
That's a blister from a steam burn.
Ow. Ow.
Hey, Born, Jody does it. He does, Jay. Very true. Oh, Jay had some really cool things that he had said in the comments that I just want to shout out. Anyone in arm wrestling took horrible losses on the road to the top.
Mm-hmm.
And then losses expose weaknesses that can be improved. If you want to be great, then you already know what you need to work on.
Yeah.
The mindset. So good job. And then Mike says, ouch, to your finger. What's up? Randy, I had sweatshirts and I was going to put them up, but they were wet in the dryer, so I didn't get a chance to hang them up. But shout out to Brandy Bell. I can't wait to see you next weekend, girl. You're amazing. Those t-shirts you made were fire. She made some really cool Michigan State t-shirts that have like the gorilla and then it has like the MI or whatever. They look fun. They look really good.
I want a gorilla trophy so bad.
I do too. I don't know if I'm gonna get one, but I do too.
Next week.
Oh, I was so sad. It's 160 and then 160 plus. Your girl is not about to lose 40 pounds in a week. I was like, maybe I can get 2 classes, but it's way down there.
You could chop off a leg.
Good. That might do.
Always works. If that doesn't work, then half of the other leg.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't need them to arm wrestle.
Yeah.
I should just do both, and then I can have like a really high riser.
Get like extra tall prosthetics.
Yeah.
So you don't ever need to look at a riser ever again.
I could have one that is like mechanical or like all robotic where I just push a button and it goes
hydraulics.
Yes. and then just rises me to the table, and then like depending on the height of the girl I'm going against, I can just go.
That would be horrifying. If I watch my opponent just like slowly get higher and higher.
Right, the mind game that would just automatically play on everybody. I just be like,
as you're rising, there's death for them.
Right. I love hooking up the gear for everyone. Yeah, you did a great job. That definitely makes arm wrestling fun. Blisters equals good time. Great.
There was a bit ago I poured boiling water over like my whole hand to like here, and I was burning it was burning for days. And it was the morning we left for an out of province arm wrestling competition, Manitoba versus Saskatchewan. So I had to arm wrestle with like a burnt hand. I was taking naproxen after naproxen, not good for my organs. But like,
I cannot.
I can't get back to the list of questions. Have you ever arm wrestled injured?
Yes. Look. So aside from my hand, the blister, you see how this finger is crooked?
Yeah.
Because I broke that mid-December arm wrestling at a bar. I beat like this 275-pound guy like 8 times and broke the finger, but still pulled in January at Knuckles Up.
Look at you.
If you notice, I have scars. Well, you can't really see it because of my bracelets, but I have a scar right here on my wrist.
Oh, yeah, I see it.
Right here. And that was when my wrist was broken when I was ran into by a drunk driver. And they said I'd never use my hand again. But this hand still does work, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Recover from injuries.
maybe it unlocked like a superpower.
Yeah, I know. Now, like, I know that you can heal broken fingers without going to the doctor. Because it still works. Sometimes it cracks and it hurts randomly, but it still works.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't have the thing called national health care. Like,
sometimes I forget.
Off. I can't go my no days off. Because I have to like work and try to build things so that I can escape for 2 days to places. So it was going. Nothing was gonna
we're just gonna put all the Arizona State juju out there for you so you can go.
Want to go so bad. That one hurts because I just keep like telling myself, this is when you need to do it. You just need to go. You need to say, forget everything and go. And be like that Britney Spears movie. What was that? Crossroads? Yeah. Where they like with the girlfriends and whatever the stupid jeans and stuff.
It was time, it was like back in 2004.
That was the year before I was born. That's technically my time.
Right.
Am I right? Did it come out in 2004? Or is that another movie? Hang on. Let's look.
It was something back in the day. Because it was still with the low-rise jeans. With the bottom flares. That was big back in the day.
Right?
Christina Aguilera era.
Oh, I was close. 2022.
Huh?
2022?
No, I always say that wrong. 2002.
You said 2002?
Yeah, 2002. I was 12.
Jesus Christ.
I was -3.
Yeah. Let's not even talk about it.
My sister was 4. She's a 99 baby. Not 4. She would have been 3 then. I don't know how to count.
Oh yeah. So you have an older sister, and then any other siblings?
She's my only sibling. Just us two.
You arm wrestle at all?
I'm trying to get her to. She's more into like powerlifting type of stuff. So if she's not coming to arm wrestling, I'm trying to encourage her to do that more at a competitive level.
There you go. But I mean, if you're already like halfway there, you might as well just hop on a table.
Exactly. She has access to every resource at this point.
It's ridiculous that she's not doing this, and she needs to do it too.
She's super strong. Like she's not anymore. She used to be able to like beat me.
Gotcha. Wow.
Yeah. And my dad. We can all be my dad, though. Don't let him hear me say that. He might be listening out in the garage.
Right.
I never said it.
Sean, you better be tuning in. You done made me bring her on.
If he's not, I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna start slapping him. Like, yeah, he pestered you out like
yet,
for this.
so I don't know, but there's 12 people in here, so I don't know if he might be one of them.
He's probably on the big garage TV. I kind of kicked them out because I was worried that they'd be like sitting at the door, like staring at me, and it makes me nervous.
Right. No, what's your dad's record look like? Is he any?
He's a little poopy pants and doesn't arm wrestle half the time. I have to like unfortunately peer pressure him. He has a few medals under his belt. Unfortunately, a lot of the time it's like a third by default. He's been getting better, but he's also been competing less, which really frustrates me because I'm also trying to get our family name to like seep in and infiltrate everything. I got my uncle into it and I got my cousin into it, and my cousin especially, she is kicking butt in her age category. She's doing great. She might not think she is because she gets hard on herself sometimes. Like she's doing amazing. And I'm trying to get my sister into it. I'm trying to get my mom into it. I got her to compete at one competition. I'm trying to make sure my dad's in it. I'm bringing in my friends. I have a cousin in a different province who was in arm wrestling before me, before I even knew about it.
Wow.
Like we're everywhere. And I'm trying to make it worse.
So we're gonna start
about the Pickering arm wrestling.
Start a recruitment committee like the army, and we're gonna have to be one of the recruiters. She's the lead recruiter, gonna train the other recruiters.
I've considered making little business cards. If I see like strong looking people in public, just slipping them the business card with like the contact information for our local club. Like I've gotten to the point where I've designed it. I just got to get one more push and I'm going to start printing them.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
But places that'll do like 100 for free or whatever. I
don't know if we got any out here for that, but it wouldn't be a huge expense. Like there are a lot of places that do it cheap, maybe not free, but
right,
not that expensive.
Jay Clean was like, "Where are you out of which province?" I said it right. Yay.
Saskatchewan, the Saskatoon team. We're called the Bridge City Pullers because Saskatoon's the bridge city. We have like, how many bridges do we have? A lot.
Randy said yes, get them all involved. And I want you to know that I did remember it, but I wasn't going to try to butcher your province because apparently I can't talk tonight. So
it's one of the hardest provinces to pronounce just because it looks like it's throwing you curveballs, but it's not.
Marlene said to say it again.
Saskatchewan.
Yeah, Saskatchewan. Okay.
Yeah. And it gets extra confusing because we pull out of Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. So it kind of sounds like we're saying a tongue twister half the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, well, we got to take a field trip to Saskatchewan province.
We'll welcome you with open arms. My dad will probably open up our guest room for you guys to stay in if you really want to. He's done it a billion times.
Okay.
We do have free healthcare. You can get that figure checked out.
So, said, oh boy, Saskatchewan, best accents. Hoosier Central?
Like Hoser? How's it spelled?
Hoser. Hoser Central. Is that a bad?
Yeah, a lot of people. The Saskatchewan and I would say Alberta accents are like the most Canadian kind of accents. We're like the south of Canada. Right. So when I travel to somewhere like Nova Scotia, I stuck out like a sore thumb. You notice it, obviously, it's your accent. It's how you talk. But then you get in a group of people and you're like, ooh, the inflection on my words is much different than everybody else around me.
Even talking to when Jocelyn was on, I think when I was talking to Jocelyn, like I was like, oh man, she sounds Canadian. And then even when she was on Paul Italia, I was like, man, you can really hear it, but it's only on like certain like
Words.
words and accents of the different words and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Ooh. Oh yeah, that's right. You're from Canada.
And
When I lived in Minnesota, it was like there are things that I say that my trainer makes fun of me because he's just like, ha, and I was like, stop, I don't have a Minnesota accent.
A lot of media uses like a Minnesotan accent as a Canadian accent. I
Right.
find it's a lot more common out there for like the boot and like a kind of stuff. I definitely say a lot, but it's in Saskatchewan. It's more like bud is like the word that you end a sentence with.
Right.
Um, but it
I think
people
Angie,
everywhere
does
talk weird.
say bud, like when she's typing, Verlene, haven't I seen that on her Facebook? When she's
ooh,
like replying to people.
ooh.
Angie, I feel
I,
like I've seen her say bud a lot.
I don't know, but I know her accent. I love it. I
Yeah.
love
Very true. Very true. Do you
it.
know Angie Rose? She was in Canada for a little.
I don't I don't really know names. I
Okay,
probably that's a my dad kind of question.
I got you.
He's like my bookkeeper.
Fair enough. No, yeah, she's out of Canada. She my favorite accent is Chicago accent. It's hilarious. Yeah, I have a more Midwest accent. It's not so much Chicago, but definitely have that Midwest. I grew up in Chicago, but now I have a mixture and a mutt, and certain words sound certain ways, and but I definitely don't sound Southern. Can't get down with that. Merlene sounds like she's from the Bronx.
You're about to have Candy come beat you up because Candy's that Southern woman right there. I love her.
I didn't say she couldn't sound Southern. I just said I don't sound
And
Southern.
you're about to fire it up. I
No,
love that woman. That's
I,
my sister.
I love Candy and I love the way she talks and I could listen to her, which she would force you anyway to listen to her all night long.
The VFW and she was like, "Are you really gonna drink something?" And I couldn't. They didn't have like liquor or wine. They only had beer, and I didn't want no beer. And so I'm like waiting, and the lady would like look at me and walk away, look at me, look away. The lady, she looked like imagine Bon Jovi back in the day with the eyeliner, but like 90 and really smaller and frailer, and that was her. And
So
walking.
perfect. Why is that like the most perfect description of that lady?
I look,
Jade
but
Shell, Jade
from my
Shell
face,
will
she was
be.
like not having it. And so Candy's like, "Did you get a drink?" And I said, "Nope, I don't think I'll be getting a drink today because I'm still waiting." And she goes, "Excuse me, excuse me. Can you get my sister here a drink, please?" And she was like, "What's your name?" And she was like, "Wanda." She goes, "Wanda. That's I like your blazer, Wanda. Well, Wanda, I just want to say thank you for giving my sister a drink and for having us and hosting us for this tournament." And then the lady goes, "Yeah, of course." And she looks at me and she's like, I was like, "Oh, she just like southernly handled this woman and got me my beverage." I said, "I fucking love this woman," because she's like, "Why? Thank you so much for those." Like it was just like complete southern something going on there. But I got my beverage. Wanda was okay. Everything worked out.
That's awesome. You know, my mom's name is Wanda. Shout out to Wanda. She a G.
She looked like a Wanda though, with the whole Bon Jovi outfit that she
No,
had going on.
she didn't look like that Wanda. She looked like a normal lady.
Said her name was Wanda, I was completely surprised. That took me by surprise. I was like, wow, never saw that coming. I would have took a Rose. I would have took an Esther.
Bruh.
Something of a Margaret. But the Wanda took me by surprise. I was like, okay.
Right.
Wanda could have got me my beverage. You didn't have to make me wait 30 minutes, but it's okay.
Anyway, sorry. Jade Shell says, "Hi, Peyton."
Hi, Jade.
So, well, very cool. So, Jay Clean said, "What a look." Yeah. Wanda was a whole mood.
Really was though. I was like, yo, that's the female Bon Jovi transplant. Like she like teleported, like had the whole eyeliner blazer get up, even the hairstyle. But it was just 90. It was very interesting. But it was cool because I like Bon Jovi back in the day in those music videos that I made once.
I love it. Oh, y'all have anything else you want to say?
Yes. Arm wrestling community. We need to grow. We need more women. We need more support. We need Peyton's recruitment company in the States. But till then, we'll try to steal her ideas because that
I'll
is a
get
great.
those business cards printed.
We're gonna start a whole recruitment system where we're gonna start just randomly hitting people up in
Green
supermarket.
recruitment.
Think of how many moms there are.
Copyrighted to her.
Yeah, how many moms there are. Can you imagine seeing a mom dealing with a frustrated kid and just walking by her and going, I know where you could get that anger out.
You need an outlet, and then you just slide a chic little business card over.
Like you and all the kids and we can arm wrestle. And she'll be like, oh, that's crazy. But then at home, the next time she's yelling at the kid, she's gonna be like, I'm gonna be an arm wrestler. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm stealing some of your ideas, Peyton. We got draft. And this is how we're gonna get our seminar together. And maybe we have our first stop over there by Saskatchewan province.
There you go.
Nailed it.
Yeah. We appreciate you having you on. I appreciate you, Lucky, letting me be the co-host that only got on the 27th episode. You know, finally.
It's okay. Yeah, I mean, we've been planning this, and this is a perfect episode for you to hop on, and I'm just so happy to have you finally after 18 weeks of planning and waiting, and finally got your life together. Yay!
I'll try to make it on tomorrow. Even today, like I was like, I gotta get off. I gotta go because I have to make this podcast. And then as soon as I was here, I was like, well, sleep sure sounds good because normally you'd be. And I was like, I can't miss it. I must stay awake. And it was rough, but thankfully, you ladies are um, very entertaining, very knowledgeable. It was great getting to know you, Peyton. And just keep on getting women. I know in Canada it's pretty good. Tamara's out there too. She has pretty cool things going on.
I'm like searching my mind. Like,
and
trying to receive a remember.
They're like, we gotta take a trip to come see you guys for real. Get that together.
That would be amazing.
I want us all to start traveling starting next year, and I'm making the plans again, just like I did at the round robin. Even though I fell asleep, I'm making serious plans because we all got to take a trip overseas. I'm adamant about making this happen. Like we got to do it. So we got to start by getting together in the States first. So
well, let us know when you're in the States because it'll be easy for us to.
Yeah.
I want to get into the States after Worlds. I really want to go arm wrestle down in the States. It's just there's so much packed in the next few months that it feels like it's impossible. But it's like September's pretty open. I could come down in September. Like I really got to keep my eye out.
First time, come on down to Alabama. We have Alabama sit downs on the 21st.
Well, Alabama, I don't know.
I don't think I've ever been. Because like I myself, non-arm wrestling related, have been to I think 21 states. Could be wrong about that, but I don't think I've even like driven through Alabama. I could be wrong. If my dad's listening, he should correct me on that.
You wouldn't remember it if you did.
You'd be surprised. Wisconsin is one of the most memorable United States trips I've been on. Ouch. And a lot of people are surprised when I say that.
My heart is breaking, but that's okay.
I don't know if I've ever been to those ones either. There's like I've been along a lot of the edges.
Right. But no, it's so funny because Chicago is huge rivals with the Green Bay or whatever. And then when I moved to Minnesota, Minnesota is just rivals with Wisconsin, period. So like we don't go to Wisconsin.
Isn't it the cheese state?
Yes, it's a
That's
cheesehead.
the thing it's known for.
Yes, that's what they're known for. I do like Michigan though. I think you should definitely come to Michigan. That's a lot of fun. Mackinac
I'll write it down.
Mackinac Island. You would love that place. You would love it.
I've never ever heard of that in my life.
There. Sounds nice.
It's so yeah, it's one of my favorite places in the whole world, to be honest. And like I'm not even exaggerating. It's
That's
legit.
not island. It's like an island.
You
Like
have to take a ferry to get there. I got sick on the ferry, but once I got there, it was amazing. And I got sick coming home. But once I was home, I wanted to go back so bad.
good. Add that to the list.
Definitely. All right, ladies. Peyton, Merlene said a lot of what I was gonna say, but I'm gonna say it anyway because I don't care. It was a pleasure getting to know you tonight. You are just doing amazing things, not only for the sport but also growing the sport, and that is incredible.
Hell yeah.
Are inspiring even to us older ladies, and just continue doing what you're doing. We wish you the best of luck, especially at nationals, worlds. Pull safe, pull hard. I'm really excited to see where this journey takes you and the level that you're going to achieve, and the level that you've already achieved is so impressive. And so thank you so much for your time tonight and blessing us, and hopefully we can do it again soon.
And see you soon.
Hopefully. Yeah, hopefully to both of those. I had so much fun. I always get super nervous before things like this, but I had an amazing time. I'm glad my dad pestered someone this time about getting me in somewhere. It was all of it was amazing. You guys are amazing. Merlene, amazing job. I don't usually tune in to arm wrestling competitions, even though I'm an arm wrestler, which is kind of weird. But like I took time out of my day to watch you beat everybody. It was super impressive. Like
Wow.
it was amazing. And my dad immediately was like, "You need to meet that lady." And hey, listen, if the window's open, I want to come say hi or get you guys out here. That would be so fun.
Make that happen soon.
Definitely. Well, cool. Well, stay in touch. Don't be a stranger. And thank you so much for your everything.
Thank you.